I ended up just randomly picking up the fourth book in Peter Tremaine's Sister Fidelma series. Sister Fidelma is the books take place in ancient Ireland, and Sister Fidelma is three things. She is a woman of the church or some sort. She's like, it's not a nun, but it's something else. But she's clerical, if you will. She's also what they call a dolly, which is the akin to like a lawyer or an investigator, a lawyer. And she also happens to be the princess, technically, of this Irish kingdom, although she keeps that part of herself on the low. But each book takes place at a different setting, sometimes in an abbey, sometimes in a village. One incident occurred on a boat, on a voyage. I ended up spending July reading about 7 of those books in a row, and then I went on eBay and bought a lot box sale where I had, like, I don't know, maybe 11 of them come in all at one time. But that has carried me throughout July, and I'm extraordinarily grateful for that, because I really was having a good time reading those books as life continued to pound, the wolves at the door. So Sister Fidelma series, if you are into mysteries, as many of the people who watch my videos are, that's like ancient Ireland, a woman protagonist solving mysteries, and her partners, the Watson to her Sherlock Holmes, is a guy named Brother Adolf. It's Adolf, and he's great. He's a great component. He's a great companion, I mean. But the thing is that I feel like in the first 3 books he was much more sharper, and then it seemed like the author pared him down a little bit more just to push Fidelma up just slightly more. But still, the dynamic is there and it works out well, and they actually secretly love each other. And I accidentally got caught up into a review where they mentioned that the two eventually get married, and I was like, why did I read this? Why did I read this review? Why did I do that to myself? But it's all good. I stopped reading them, and we'll pick back up some other time. After that, I spent August reading the Warrior of the Atali by Robert Jordan. It was just kind of a book that I picked up at the library and was like, okay, well, we'll get through this. Nothing too spectacular. I think the thing that I enjoyed most about that book, considering it was written in the 70s, pre everything in regards to the Wheel of Time series, is that you saw a lot of the nuggets and seeds that were eventually going to matriculate over into like the Wheel of Time, in much more complex fashion, like the women wielding magic only, the war, all of those things. You just saw the beginnings of the Wheel of Time within the Warrior of the Atali. So that was great. And then I ended up doing something that I never thought I was going to ever do again, especially after it's been 4 years, and the video that I did speaking about the last book that I read in the series. But I ended up picking up Laura K. Hamilton's Anita Blake series again. Child, listen, with all the stuff that was going on, I was hit by this nostalgic bug that wanted me to confer with who I was in the summer of 2007. And that was a period in which I was learning, or I was discovering, the urban fantasy series, which I've largely stopped reading for very specific reasons, although I still want to dabble into it. But basically, that was the summer that I discovered the Anita Blake series, and because I was hit by this bug of nostalgia, it was like, well, maybe you can pick the series back up again with Sucker Punch. Yeah, and I read it. I read Sucker Punch. It took me 5 days, and I read Sucker Punch, and now I'm currently reading the following book, which is Raphael and the Anita Blake series. Never thought I would go back to those books, but I don't know. I'm coping with something. But the thing that I enjoy, I don't want to get into the details. I feel like it's not even worth it to talk about the books. Honestly, it's not worth it to go into it. But one of the things that, having read Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time series, has bled into me is to find out I guess to accept some things for what they are. Roll your eyes in the moment, cringe in the moment of reading it, but understand that when you close the book, it's not necessary to rant about it, go on about it, to even talk about it. It's not necessary if you don't feel the need to do so, despite having relived these same, you know, moments with this author in her work, because there's a lot of problematic stuff in it. And you know, I just don't feel like it's worth it, and that's thanks to Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series, which is worth speaking about. But getting through those books, I've gotten to this place where it's like, it is what it is. I'm just gonna just coast on through and read it. So I managed to get through Sucker Punch. Never thought I would read those books again. And you know, I just communicating and coping, connecting with the young me who first read those books 15 something years ago, something like that. But anyway, as far as books that I have recently bought, which I see on the shelf, I ended up buying Nadine Matheson's The Binding Room last Friday. And there's a picture of the author. This is the second book in her Angelica Henley mystery series. Angelica Henley is a inspector, right? Because it takes place in the UK. So Detective Angelica Henley. Okay, detective is fine. It's good enough. But anyway, this is the second book in that series. And as far as the synopsis, when Detective Angelica Henley is called to investigate the murder of a popular preacher in his own church, she discovers a second victim, tortured and tied to a bed in an upstairs room. He is alive, but barely, and his body shows signs of a dark religious ritual. So, The Binding Room. I put a Mylar sheet on it. The first book in that series is actually The Jigsaw Man, which I actually had to listen to in audiobook form last summer, something like that. So another book to add, another book to hopefully get my mood into the right pocket to actually take on. You know, that's how it is. But anyway, guys, that is it. I just want to check in, tell you guys what I've been up to this summer, that sort of thing, you know, and you can share with me what you've been reading. I do want to read a little bit more urban fantasy. I kind of want to dedicate August to reading urban fantasy. So once I finish Raphael by Laura K. Hamilton, I was going to probably read the next Patricia Briggs book that I was in. I was thinking of Karen Chance. I really want to pick up the L.A. Banks Werewolf series again. But we'll see. My leg is getting numb now. So you can let me know what urban fantasy books you've read, that sort of thing. Dang, my leg is numb. And yeah, I think I'm about to go. Bye.